Assalamu alaikum everyone and welcome back to the channel. How are you guys? I hope you're doing well. Alhamdulillah, we are good too. So in this video, I wanted to start a new travel series, and for that we'll have to rewind back a little bit. So let's go back in time. Back in November of last year, we were getting ready to go on another trip, alhamdulillah. You guys have to let me know in the comments below where you think our final destination is. I will be taking you guys along the whole trip, so I hope you guys enjoy all the vlogs to come. Here, we were just doing some basic packing. Our must-have on any trip is the pack and play for Zoe to sleep in, along with diapers for both the kids, of course. I like to pack a box of Nido just in case the kids don't like the milk in the local area of where we're going. So we are going for a short trip this time for 2 weeks, inshallah, and that's why we're not taking a lot of bags. Made sure to weigh all the bags so that each bag is less than 23 kgs, which is the maximum weight for a checked-in bag. I also packed a little backpack with some tissues, a water bottle, which I will fill at the airport after we clear security. So make sure you don't carry water with you because they will either make you throw it out or make you drink it there on the spot. And I also got a bunch of new toys, which the kids have not seen yet. So that's my secret mom hack. Buy a bunch of new toys and don't show them to your kids. That way they will be busy with them during the trip because they're brand new for them, right? And then it was finally time to go to the airport. So our flight was not at an ideal time. It was actually really early in the morning, around 6 a.m., which meant that we had to leave early around 3 or 3:30 a.m. So we had actually been preparing Xavier the day before, saying that tomorrow we'll be flying in an airplane, inshallah. So he was very excited when we woke him up this morning. Zoe and Xavier were quite wide awake during our ride to the airport, but they were okay. If you guys have been following me since my previous travel vlog, you would know that the last time we traveled for about 2.5 months and we had a lot of bags with us, so we booked a taxi to take us to the airport. This time we actually decided to drive ourselves to the airport. We had fewer luggage, and plus our trip is shorter, about 2 weeks, and our flight was very early in the morning, so we thought that it would be easier for us to drive our car to the airport and park it there. And this is the parking area. It's called Park and Jet. After driving for about 30 minutes, we finally reached the Park and Jet area. So they provide airport parking with a shuttle service. So they have shuttle buses which take you to the airport and bring you back to your car when you return from your trip. So their rates are pretty reasonable too, especially if you're traveling for like a short period of time like how we did. Once you pay here at the front, you will see that you enter and you'll see a sign, and that tells you where you can find an empty parking spot. So we went to row 7, and once we parked the car, we took all our luggage out and waited for the shuttle bus to come. Once the shuttle bus came, my husband took all of our stuff while I got the kids out, and it was super cold because it's November, and we quickly got them into the bus. In the shuttle bus, they have this little area where you can put your bags and stuff. So we had 2 big luggage bags, 2 hand carry bags, and 2 strollers, which I will explain in a little bit why we have 2 strollers. After loading all the stuff onto the bus, we finally boarded, and you can see that's all our luggage along with other people's luggage. We did have the kids wear their winter jackets, and my husband and I wore light jackets because where we're going, it's actually going to be hot. And there's a clue for you guys right there. The Park and Jet is actually really close to the airport, maybe like 5 minutes away. Shuttle bus driver usually writes down the airlines that everyone is flying with, and then they drop each family or person to that airline door. So we were flying with Air Canada, and that's why they dropped us off in front of the Air Canada door. We grabbed a cart from here and we loaded our stuff onto it. My husband basically went in to check in our 2 big luggage bags and 1 of our strollers. So for this trip, we brought 2 single strollers. One of them we checked in, and the other one we brought is a smaller stroller, which actually easily fits into the overhead of the airplane, as you guys can see here. We wanted to carry this onto the plane with us along with our hand carry bags. As you guys know from our previous travel experience, we lost our double stroller, and it was so difficult to handle 2 kids without it. So on this trip, we wanted to make sure that we have 1 stroller at all times. So the smaller stroller was perfect, a must-have if you're traveling with kids, in my opinion. After we cleared security, we checked our flight status, and we had enough time to grab breakfast. So we decided to head over to our gate, which was C50, while my husband goes to grab some Tim's, which was close to our gate, luckily. Along with getting breakfast, we did get some snacks that they usually like from Tim's for the kids, so that way we had food for them at all times. I mean, I packed snacks for them, but I wanted to have extra just in case because you never know. Soon after we had breakfast, it was boarding time, and after some wait, they finally let us board because the kids were crying and they just wanted to sleep. Like even Xavier, he's rubbing his eyes here. It was a full flight, and just, you know, this feeling of like going to the airport and being in an airplane is so exciting, alhamdulillah. Anytime I sit on a plane, it makes me remember all of my previous trips, and alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah, and mashallah, like Allah has been so kind to us. We've been blessed that we've been able to travel around a lot, and yeah, it makes me really excited. I'm really really excited for this trip, and I hope you guys enjoy all of these vlogs that are to come. Xavier put on his seatbelt as soon as he reached the seat and he was ready to fly. So yeah, before the flight, they actually washed the wings of the plane to remove any ice or frost that may have built up, as that can affect the flight. And then alhamdulillah, once that was done, it was time to fly. You guys know where we're heading, and that's right, we are going to Toronto. But that is not the final destination. We have more flights coming up. It is just a layover here in Toronto. The kids did nap a bit on the flight, but once they were awake, Zoe was busy playing with her empty coffee cup, and while Xavier was basically playing some educational games. During travel, all my screen time rules are out the window, and I will give them a tablet if that helps them to stay calm. I think all the rules are out once you're traveling, because you just want to enjoy yourself and you want your kids also to enjoy the trip. Just try to download some educational games for them, along with like educational videos from YouTube and some of their favorite TV shows as well, like Paw Patrol, for example. Right as we were flying over Toronto, you can see how many houses there are below, and this was right before landing. Like, this is all residential area, and all of these houses, it looks so nice. And then I saw their beautiful skyline. Subhanallah, that view was just stunning. Toronto has a very special place in my heart, as that is where I grew up, so I always love coming back here. As we were getting off the plane, the best part was that we had our stroller with us instantly. So we got Xavier to sit in that while Zoe sat on one of the hand carry bags while my husband held her. So you can usually give your stroller by the door of the plane before you're boarding the plane, and that's where they give it to you when you're getting off. But you can have issues like we did last time. If you guys might watch my vlogs, you knew what happened last time we traveled. So this hand carry style stroller is just perfect. Toronto airport is huge. You can easily spend time walking around and just checking out the airport, and there's just so many things there. We actually had a layover, and our layover was so long. We had a layover of 10 hours and 40 minutes, so make it like 11 hours layover, and we didn't want to spend all that time in the airport, especially with two small kids. So we had actually booked a hotel by the airport which had a shuttle service, so that way we can rest for a bit before our long flight ahead. We had called our hotel before the flight to find out where their shuttle bus will come for pickup, and that is where we're headed right now. So basically, once we got off the flight, we headed towards the baggage. We followed the baggage sign and headed there. We went out through the doors, we exited, and then we basically went downstairs to the baggage area where you see the conveyor belt that brings out your luggage. Surprisingly, it was not that busy this time. Like, usually Toronto airport is very packed and very crowded, but when we went to the baggage area, it was completely empty. Like, there were barely people. Maybe there weren't as many flights in the morning, I'm not sure, but as you can see, there's literally nobody on this end. But yeah, once you basically see the conveyor belts, right in front, you'll see those doors and it says exit. So we basically exited out those doors, and then we followed the signs to go to the shuttle buses. Another tip that I would give is that if you're traveling with kids, always make sure to have snacks with you, and like, you know, sandwiches or like any type of wraps that you can make beforehand that you can carry with you, because that will be really helpful if you're staying for a long layover like here. Of course, there's food options available at the airport, but again, there's problems with like trying to find halal options, and we didn't want to struggle around for that. So I had packed us some sandwiches, and that's what we would have when we go to the hotel. We made our way downstairs to where the hotel shuttle buses were coming. We actually had to wait 15 to 20 minutes until our bus came, and then it took us to our hotel. We were staying at the Courtyard Marriott, which was about 5 minutes from the airport. It was a nice, clean hotel. The staff were super friendly. They have shuttle buses that come after every 30 minutes, so that's something to keep in mind if you're planning to go back for your flight. And here's a quick look at the hotel. We checked in, we headed upstairs to our room. Our main purpose for getting a room during the layover was so that we could relax a bit and rest before a super long flight with the kids. We wanted the kids to sleep a little bit if possible. At this time, Zoe was just starting like walking, mashallah, and she's slowly learning to get better at it. She was taking big steps. Xavier was the most excited. He wanted to be the one to open the door, and this is our hotel room. So we had actually booked 2 double beds as we wouldn't have our pack and play with us. We had packed that in our checked-in luggage bag, as you guys saw earlier. The room was quite spacious and nice, mashallah. So here they had a closet by the door which had all the amenities like an ironing board, an iron, a hangers for like your jackets and stuff. In front of the closet was the sink, and then here is the washroom. So the washroom was actually quite big and very clean. I really liked it. Overall, we really liked the room for like the quality and the space that it offered. It also had this cozy little sofa by the beds, which I absolutely loved. I actually sat here for quite some time, and they had a TV and a workstation as well. And here is the view from the room, and it may not seem like much, but you will find out in a little bit why I absolutely love this view. Main door, they had the check-in and check-out time details along with procedures to follow during like a fire, etc., and like safety exits, all of that information. And here they also had a microwave for heating food, which was great because I could heat up the sandwiches that I'd made. They also had this fridge, which was nice to use for like water and stuff. And here is the view that I was talking about. From our room, you could see all the planes that were coming to land, and it was so much fun watching. Even the kids enjoyed looking at all the planes that were coming, and I think it was just so nice. I think getting this room for the layover was the best decision we made because with the kids, we would have been exhausted by now in the airport, and here we got a chance to relax, rest, and get refreshed before the next flight. We showered and changed into more comfortable clothing for the long flight ahead. I also organized the kids' diaper bag and just arranged their clothing for like easy access on the plane. We had been checking our flight status on the airline website as well as Toronto Pearson Airport's website, and we found out that our flight was delayed. So at that time, we were even more grateful that we had this room because we were able to leave a bit later from the room. So when it was time to go to the airport, we headed downstairs and then we waited for our shuttle bus, and it came in approximately like 10 minutes maybe. We timed it that way, and then we headed to the airport. The bus dropped us off right in front of our airline, and here is the view outside. It was so calm and quiet. We double checked our flight status, and since we still had some time before boarding started, we decided to grab something to eat. Can you guys guess where we're going and where our next flight is to? She saw some of these seats over here, and we decided to sit down and just search for something halal to eat at the airport. So while my husband was searching basically what we should, eat, I saw this sign that said that the carts are free here at the airport, and it reminded me of LA airport. So I know you guys saw it in my previous vlogs when we went to LA airport. The carts there, they were actually paid, like you had to pay for them, and it blew my mind when we were there. But yeah, it was a blessing here. I mean, when we were here, I was like, wow, it's actually a blessing. The carts here are free. But yeah, we decided to get Subway because there weren't many halal options in this side of the airport. We headed downstairs and it was actually quite busy at Subway. We grabbed some tuna sandwiches, and Xavier requested that he get some Lay's chips. So of course, Baba had to get him some. Alhamdulillah, my sandwich was super yummy, and here I will show you guys what we got. So here's Xavier chips, and here are the sandwiches. We actually got 2 big sandwiches, one for the kids as well in case they got hungry on the flight. I love tuna, so this is my favorite thing to get at Subway. Obviously, we couldn't finish everything, so whatever was left over, we grabbed that, and then we headed to the gate. But the kids had finished the snacks from before, and that's why I wanted to have a sandwich on hand just in case they got hungry on the flight. Xavier is quite picky with eating, and that's why I like to have something on hand all the time that he likes. But yeah, at this point, basically we headed to the gate for boarding, and Xavier was super cranky. He wanted to sit in the stroller, so I got him to sit in the stroller, and I pulled out my baby carrier that was in the hand carry bag with me, and I put Zoya in my baby carrier. Flight was actually delayed to 11:40 p.m. and the kids were super cranky and tired, and they just wanted to fall asleep, but we were trying to get them to stay awake until boarding. So we tried to make Xavier walk, and so that way he would get tired and he he doesn't fall asleep in the stroller. He walked quite a bit, but then he got cranky and he wanted to just sit in the stroller. Late night flights have a perk in the sense that, you know, like that's the time the kids will sleep and they'll sleep through majority of the flight, inshallah. But it's definitely negative once, you know, like the flight gets delayed and then the kids get cranky. It's definitely hard to handle. This time of night, the airport was actually quite calm and quiet. Not a lot of people. The restaurants were closing. But let me show you guys a little bit of the airport as we walk to the gate. Zoe was crying so much at this point because she was overtired and just wanted to go to sleep. When we reached our gate, we saw a sea of people. There was a huge crowd of people waiting by the door. It was chaotic. No one was listening. There were no lines. We had no updates as to what was happening. The kids were crying and we were so worried. Are we going to get on this flight or not? To find out, you're going to have to wait for vlog number 2. So take care of yourselves and I shall see you in the next video. Allah Hafiz.